Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now, slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
What's up, everyone? You know what night it is. Wednesday night, off-centered, with Dustin. I should have named my YouTube station anything else because it would have been more accurate than Personal Finance Dad. Personal Finance Dad. Anyway, we have Geoff Wilson, sports card investor, on for the very first time. We're really excited about that. We have a couple big topics to discuss, including his new Hits app, which is compiling and showcasing the biggest hits in the hobby all into one app, and then even turning those into NFTs, which is a really innovative idea. So we'll be discussing that, asking some of our questions, and then featuring some of your questions as well. Plus, Geoff released a pretty a new video a couple days ago about the negativity in the hobby. So we just wanted to touch on that and give our thoughts as well, and then get more clarity from Geoff as to why he made this video and what we can do to make sure that we're all enjoying the hobby together. So it's going to be an awesome night. I hope you're ready. Y'all already know the drill. Welcome back. Now let's get to work. Let's bring on Dustin. I should have named my YouTube station anything else, but I decided to go with Personal Finance Dad.
Man, you're really stuck on that. I didn't realize how much it bothered you.
I mean, look, I got a mediocre degree from a state school in marketing. And at least at that state school, USF in Tampa, I learned you don't name your channel Personal Finance Dad if all you're talking about is sports cards.
But what about the channels that are just named like Jimmy Smith or whatever?
Because, well, if it's his name, if his name's not Jimmy Smith, you don't name it Jimmy Smith. That's like naming your station Jimmy Smith. It's like, who's Jimmy Smith?
I might make it might be a brand change to Jimmy Smith.
Maybe we ask, well, hold on a second. The best person of the three of us in terms of marketing and branding is Geoff. So we're going to ask Geoff, is it time for Dustin to rebrand his channel to pretty much anything else, but maybe include sports cards in there?
Yeah, Geoff is the perfect person to ask for this. I'll do like sports card investors with a Z on the end.
There we go. There we go. Let's take a look at some of the people in the house. We already have, wow, so many people in here already. Drip Collector, great to see you. Brian Sherland, man, you know what? If Brady plays, I'd love for him to come out of retirement, just because even if he's not with the Bucks, it is fun to see Tom Brady at his age play so well. So I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come to Tampa or what's going to happen, but would love to see that. Great to see you, Steven, as well. Thank you for the kind words. Troy is always in the house as well. He's got the catchphrase right there. South Stands 303, aloha back at you. Corey as well in the house. Great to see you. Colorado Sports Dudes. First time I've seen you here. Very cool. Absolutely thrilled to have you on board as well.
He's been here before. Nice work, Brad.
Okay.
I remember you, man.
Well, I know Ryan. Ryan's always in the house as well. Good to see you. And I've had two gigantic green smoothies today, about 50 ounces each. The last one I had about 45 minutes ago. So I'm getting it.
You go to the bathroom beforehand?
I did, but I'm still feeling like 18 to 20 minutes max before I'm going to have to excuse myself.
This will be done right at 60 minutes. This will be
All right. Well, anyway, let me say hi to a couple more people. We got so many people in the house already. 100 of you guys are on here already, which is insane. Lucas, great to see you as well. And then David Hunter, special thanks to you for basically doing my entire newsletter except for pressing send. That's the part that I do. But if you want some card insight from a very knowledgeable person, a very good-hearted person, David Hunter, he does my newsletter, and you could sign up at thecomebackcardinvestor.com. And it's just free insight. What's that?
The real MVP for the comeback card investor is David.
David is paid in online recognition. That's it. That's all I got.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm going to show some more comments up here, but what's up with you, man? How's your week been?
I've actually been getting over sickness. So this is like my Michael Jordan flu game. I'm here, but I'm struggling a little bit.
This is your COVID game?
Yeah, this essentially is. I'm on the back end, but I'm getting there, but I'm not quite there yet.
Are you sure you have enough energy to turn the computer on and just look into the camera for the next hour?
If I'm just laying here for a while, for 20 or 30 minutes, you just take it. I know you can talk, so just talk through that little that awkward moment.
Perfect. And there's our unofficial sponsor, Coca-Cola. Thank you for showcasing that, even though they're not paying us.
Yeah, please send us money. Okay.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, what's up with you? Any news this week? Any cards? Anything you're excited about?
I binge watched The Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max. I don't know if you've seen it. It's quirky. It's really, really funny. It's got Danny McBride in it. Instant classic. So anyway, I did that. Just the same old thing. I've got 4 kids, so it's been interesting. But yeah, no, it's been, I've been just getting over my stuff. So it's been a lot of TV and just hanging out in my quarters by myself for the last 5 days. How about you?
I love how you said I have 4 kids, and then you look down sad, like, so that's interesting. Kind of like, I regret having 4.
That's the opposite. I was looking in pride. I was just
looking down in pride. That's a new one.
It's been like a vacation for the last little bit, so yeah, I can't complain. How about you? How's any new dates this week?
Same girl. Hinge has been good, but Bumble.
Okay. You're screwing up the whole Hinge thing, because before long you're not going to be online dating anymore.
Well, I know now. It's like, well, what are we going to do with our future sponsor if I actually find a girlfriend? So I'm going to have to break it off with her for the sake of our live stream income potential.
For your sake, I hope you have a backup plan.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, all right, let's bring on our guest. He's been waiting patiently. You guys already know who it is.
Jeff just signed off. He's like, screw it.
He's like, this is stupid. I'm out of here. Geoff, what's up, man? How are you?
Gentlemen, how you guys doing? Hello. How you doing?
Hello. Back. We're doing good, man. Well, dude, thanks so much for joining us. This is the first time you've been on Off Centered, and we already have 123 people on board. And I know we got a lot to cover. We're really excited to talk about your new app, your new product, which looks like it's one of many new apps or technologies that you'll be coming out with. So let's just start there. Tell us a bit about the app and what inspired you guys as a team to create it.
Well, first I want to know, Brad, are we eating cake tonight? Is that what happens here? Is cake involved in the future?
What's crazy is during COVID, it aligned perfectly because the gyms were closed. So every night could be a potential cheat meal night. And now it's usually Fridays or Saturdays where I just go, you know what? I'm going to work out super hard. I'm going to eat like broccoli and protein shakes all day. And then I'm just going to tune out, have my half pie and 2 carrot cake slices, which I usually share on Instagram. But it's hard to coordinate it in the middle of the week because I feel so lousy the next day. So I don't mind feeling lousy on a weekend day.
I was expecting Uber Eats to show up at my house here with cake. I thought that was part of the contract for the appearance. I thought you were going to send cake here.
Well, to be fair, a part of me was like, Geoff is going to cancel last second. He's going to be like, nah, I don't want to ruin my brand image by being on Brad's station. So, the cake will come next time.
What's going on in the chat here? People can pay you money. Is that what I'm seeing? Like, if someone paid $2 to be in your chat, what's happening here?
Is that happening? Oh
yeah,
my God. Here we go.
John Williams.
Hell yeah.
John Williams paid $2. That's pretty cool.
And there's not even a comment attached.
Look at that.
It's because the light's flickering off. If the electric bill's late, John's like, we got to help this guy.
Yeah. Well, whether it's pity or desperation, I'll take it.
Jeff raises his arms and I take a drink. You're gonna be real drunk if you do that here in about 10 more minutes.
Oh, for sure. Well, there's actually a running joke where there it is. Yeah. So Dominic, it's Dustin takes a drink and I fix my hair. And every time he does that, he takes a shot of whatever. Hopefully it's not too strong. Hopefully it's just like a mild beer or a kombucha so he doesn't get hammered before the end of the show. But that's his game that he plays. So
awesome. Well, anyway, so I'm sorry to take us off course there. We were talking about the app. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. There's 2 elements to this that we've been working on. So the Hits app, which we launched in December, but we launched a major update to it recently. We have teamed up with the biggest breakers in the business, breakers like Layden Sports Card and Mojo Break and Jaspys and Top Shelf Breaks and Titan Cards and Real Breaks. and others as well. And we now have a situation with them where when they pull big cards every night, we get a feed of the biggest cards that they pull every night into our studio. And then the next day we take the clips of all of their biggest hits and we put them into our hits app. And so the app is just a ton of fun. Like, Layden the other day pulled the Anthony Edwards Luca Man, or Logo Man, not Luca Man. What am I saying? The Anthony Edwards Logo Man from Flawless. And so we clip that up and that's in the app. So if you want to go see that pull, you can find that, and you can find, we've got over 1,000 big major hits, some from recent products, and some of the all-time greats, like when the Luca Logo Man was pulled a few years ago, the card that sold for over $4 million. We've got that moment in the app. So it's a really fun app. It's called Hits, and you can just go download it in the App Store. It's totally free. You just download, you have to search for Hits Card Breaker, and it comes up in the App Store. It's a lot of fun. So I'd encourage everyone to go do it. It's just a fun, kind of a fun project that we worked on. And it's fun going through it and seeing all the breaker reactions to everything. It works just like TikTok. You just go through it, swipe through, and you can even hit the explore button, and you can filter by sport and by player. So if you want to see all the big baseball card hits or soccer or whatever you want to see, you can see them right there. And then the more controversial part about what we're doing with this is that next Tuesday, so just under a week away, Tuesday night, we are taking these moments in the Hits app, these biggest card pulls of all time, and we're minting each of them as one-of-one NFTs, and we're selling them on OpenSea, and that's going to take place Tuesday night. Now, I announced this in a video on my channel about a week ago from Sunday. And the comments were 99% people telling me I'm nuts and that NFTs are worthless and that digital collectibles are not the future and I should stay in my lane when it comes to physical sports cards, and that this is going to be a flop. So we'll see. They might be right. I don't know. That's the interesting thing about doing a project like this and doing any type of entrepreneurial venture. I don't know how the audience is going to react, but you know what? The market's going to decide. And next Tuesday night, they're going to go for sale on OpenSea, and maybe it's going to be a complete thud, or maybe they're going to sell out and people will start flipping them on OpenSea on the secondary market, like what has happened with a zillion other NFT projects. Personally, I like it because I feel like it is the one moment in the sports card hobby where you get this stream of emotion, right? Like, tons of people are collecting the Panini blockchain digital cards, but they're just flat images. There's no emotion there. It's just a flat digital image. In my opinion, actually collecting the moment that one of those big physical cards was pulled and breaker went nuts, I think it's cool. And they're all one of ones. So we're only minting one of each of these pools ever. So I don't know. I like the concept. I'm optimistic about the concept. My team's optimistic about the concept. Ultimately, the market will decide. But regardless of whether, people are into the digital collecting and NFTs or not, they can still enjoy the app because the app's totally free and all the content's available for people to enjoy inside the app.
Well, Geoff, I think as a backup plan, Brad and I were actually talking about this before. We took a look at the app. We kind of, we put our heads together. And as a backup plan, what about sports card content creator funny moments?
I like it.
Brad, cue it up.
I really think this has legs right here. Hold on one second.
Remember like the egg card that was worth like $1 million? The egg card was so popular. Stuff like this.
I captured this rare photo of Dustin at the National. I don't know what he sniffed prior.
He did one of those, like you mix like Jabba the Hutt and my face together and it popped this out.
But see, the interesting thing with this original NFT artwork is that I did nothing, no editing. There was no editing. There was no fancy CGI. I know I'm here in LA and everyone's a graphic designer and artist and all this. I didn't have to do any of that. I just cropped out his hair and the rest of his body. And this is what popped up. Can we turn this into an NFT on the Hits app? because I think this is going to sell. And Dustin's willing to side.
I think this is going to overtake the Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks, to be quite honest. I mean,
you heard it. Hey, everyone in the chat, you heard that. You heard it here first.
I mean, I think this is a true masterpiece, without a doubt. Let's put this in the Hits app. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
All right.
We'll talk
that's your backup plan.
We'll start talking royalties after the show.
Who's the original owner? Can I be the original owner? Okay, but seriously, I tried out the app. Extremely easy to use. I mean, this is like pretty much foolproof, because it's just like the feature in Instagram or TikTok where it's just you slide up, you could search for player. I did have some questions though. So the first one is that, let's just say a couple breakers have their hits up there of the same card, and it's a limited to 5, limited to 10. Like, let's say it's a Patrick Mahomes RPA numbered to 10, but 2 breakers break that card. Are those going to be individually distributed as NFTs? Which cards are going to be NFTs? Is it only the RPAs, or is it only the ones that we feel like would be worth thousands and thousands of dollars as physical cards? Like, what's the process there?
These are great questions, Brad. And some of this we got to figure out as we go. But the right now we intentionally did not put duplicate cards in the app for that reason. Over time we'll see, but right now every card in the app is unique. There's not a duplicate. The first NFT drop is going to only be 200 moments from the app, and every one of the moments is cards that are worth at least $1,000. Most of the cards are worth a few $1,000s. We're selling the NFTs for 0.08 Ether, which the price of Ethereum is bouncing all around, but it's somewhere between $200 and $250. So it's a one-of-one digital collectible that would be somewhere in that $200 to $250 range of the moment that a card was pulled. In most cases, these cards are worth thousands of dollars. So that's kind of the pricing scheme. Only 200 are going to be sold as part of our Series 1. And each of those 200, again, is a one-of-one. So it's 200 different moments of big cards being pulled. So that's how we set it up. And we're going to, the app itself, the cards we're featuring in the app are all cards that have quite a bit of value. We're not going to, put cards in the app if it's a, $50 card. We're looking to only feature cards that are worth at least several $100s. And in many cases, thousands of dollars. So we want to keep the app more kind of like really awesome big cards that people are really excited to pull.
There were a couple of questions here in terms of utility, right? Like, a lot of talk about NFTs, like, because I don't know a thing about NFTs except for a couple of Gary V podcasts and this and that. And I understand it's something that's real, that's happening. It's just something I don't fully grasp yet. And I know it's the wild, wild west of NFTs right now. So I'm sure a lot's going to change in the next year, 2 years. But utility is one thing that a lot of people mention, is like, yeah, that's great that I own this, but isn't it just a gamble, or is there actually something I can count on in terms of value that's outside of the hope of appreciation? So
or a goal with it, maybe over time to add.
Yeah. So that's a great point, right? So I personally own several NFTs. I'm a little bit a very small NFT collector outside of the sports world, right? I favor NFT projects that have utility, and NFTs that I am investing in with any significance are NFTs that have real world utility. So, it's not just a digital collectible, but it's something that unlocks an experience in the real world, or something that has some real world value. I think, in terms of longer term sustainable value, I think that is a good thing. So what we've layered some of that into our Hits NFTs as well. So first of all, if you collect a Hits NFT, if you buy a Hits NFT, then first of all, you get to actually, declare yourself the owner of that NFT within the Hits app, and you can link to something. So it's a little bit of an advertising opportunity. Whenever anybody loads up the Hits app ever in the future, and they swipe and they see that video moment, you're going to be listed on top of that video moment as the owner. They can click and we'll take them to your profile with URL to whatever you want to take them to. So there's a little bit of utility there that some people, you might have you might have somebody in the card business who wants to buy some of these and use it, either just, hey, this is my personal collection, check it out, or, maybe they're advertising their marketplace or their breaking company or whatever they want to do by way of owning some of these hits NFTs.
And then your wife could like check out and make sure like, oh, that's where all the money has been going.
Yes.
That vacation fund, that college fund. Aha, you bought this NFT and that NFT and that one.
Yep. And then exactly right. And then the second thing we're doing is for anyone who owns a hits NFT, once a quarter, we're going to do a private box break with one of our breakers and all the hits NFT owners, and it's going to be free. So if you own a hits NFT, you get your way into a quarterly box break. Now it doesn't guarantee you're going to get a card. You're going to be, it's going to be a random team style break. You're going to be assigned a random team. Maybe you hit a card, maybe you don't, but it's going to be a cool event nonetheless to get all the hits NFT owners together. It's a private live stream that you're only going to be invited to if you connect your hits wallet. If you connect your wallet and you have a hits NFT in your wallet, then you get a private link to join a private live stream. And for every hits NFT that you have in your wallet, you get a spot on the break. And then this is going to be every quarter. We're also going to do one of these when Series 1 sells out. So next Tuesday, when Series 1 goes on sale and we sell 200 of these NFTs, if Series 1 sells out, then we're going to do a private break just for everybody who bought a Series 1 NFT. And it's going to be fun. I'm going to be on the stream. We're going to have one of the big breakers on the stream. We're going to be giving a product away. So we're offering some utility in terms of that with the NFTs in addition to the collectability.
Okay. Dustin, you use the app. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I like the, I guess the UI, I like, it's very easy to use, as you mentioned. I think for me, it's kind of, the thing I really like is the innovation. I mean, that's one thing that you didn't really see in sports cards going back just a couple of years. And so now we've got data tools, we've got NFT stuff, we've got all sorts of things that are popping up. So even if I don't fully understand every ounce of it right this second, I like the fact that there's new ideas and new things coming out, new options, frankly, for an old hobby, new options. So I think that's all good stuff.
What's funny is like, all right, it was very simple to use. And something tells me that as it goes on, just like market movers, you add more features, it gets more advanced, but it's more like this is as simple as it gets. The idea of buying an NFT of a card being broken or a hit, it's fascinating because I'm not someone that likes gambling, but if I had to choose between entering a break where I'll probably end up with useless cards or buying an NFT of a card of a player I actually believe in as a gamble, like, because I can't really understand the investment. It's not a proven track record of an investment yet, but it's fascinating. I would probably go with the NFT of the card and player I really believe in. Like if it's an RPA of Patrick Mahomes and I believe he's going to go to 2 more Super Bowls in his lifetime, I'd probably put some money there versus a break where that's one of the only cards that you could potentially end up with. And then you just wind up with like some scrubs. So
and with NFTs, you're also buying into the people behind the projects. So if you believe that Geoff, SCI, that team are providing value and will provide future value, it's the same reason why people buy VFriends from Gary Vee. All they have is this thing and they have a secondary market and then there's a conference coming. But other than that, I mean, it's future utility. They don't really know exactly what they're going to get with that. So, I mean, you're buying into the people behind those projects. That's important. And Geoff's established.
Well, the other thing too is now that Fanatics is taking over in a couple of years and their vision and their resources, I would imagine even if NFTs and cards seem like there's friction there or doesn't make sense, I'm sure it's only going to go in the direction of, okay, I get it now. Okay, they're intertwined. I mean, again, I'm not an NFT person. I don't really understand all of it, but that's just the direction we're going. Anything else you'd like people to know about the Hits app before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, sure. Someone had asked what blockchain we decided to build it on. We built it on Ethereum, and that does involve gas fees. So if you're not familiar, if you've never bought an NFT on Ethereum, you'll end up paying an extra $50 or sometimes more. Sometimes if the network's real busy, it can be $100 or more in gas fees when you buy one, which is not ideal. But Ethereum is the reason why we build it on there is by far the biggest network for NFT buying and selling. And those gas fees are going to reduce over time. So yeah, and here's the question right here. It's a great question, right? But this is a project that we're betting on the long term with this project. We are going to try to build hits into a collectible that people are going to want over the long term and is going to have long-term value. We're going to release new series of hits. They'll all be one of one NFTs, but as big cards are broken out by breakers out in the community, they'll be minted and they'll be released as a one of one NFT. So over time, there will be more and more of these giant card moments that people will buy. And so given that Ethereum is where the action is today, and given that over time, Ethereum's gas fees will get cheaper and cheaper as they change some of the technology behind it and how they're verifying transactions on the blockchain, that's why we decided to go in that direction. And do the people that made the hits have to give their permission? Yeah, well, the breakers all do, right? So the breakers, by the way, the breakers are all partners in this project. So this is not just Sports Card Investor behind this project. This is Layden Sports Cards and Mojo Break and Real Breaks and Titan Cards. All the breakers that you see in the app are involved with the project. They all get financial benefit from the project. So in fact, we're splitting everything evenly. So it's benefiting the breakers as much as it's benefiting us. And so it's a collective effort to put it all together. But yeah, I mean, even if you don't feel like the NFT thing is anything, still just download the app and have fun with it because it's free. And I think it's a cool thing. I think it's a lot of fun. My son loves it. He's on there. Every day he loads it up he wants to see if we added any new hits that day and what the new hits were. So he loads it up and, swipes through it. So again, it's free in the App Store. It's called Hits Card Breaker.
Perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you want to go ahead and move over to the next topic, hobby drama. And Jeff's recent video, Jeff's favorite topic, hobby drama. So let's start with you, Geoff. I mean, this is one. I think this is good. I mean, good video that you put out. If you want to kind of expand on it a little bit, or just kind of go back over it, or
go ahead. I got tired of loading up my Instagram feed and just seeing nothing but Instagram post after Instagram post of like fraud this, scam that, trim card this, fake slab that, breaker gone rogue this, scam breaker that. It was so much. And a year ago, that stuff wasn't there. Like you didn't see that stuff. That stuff was happening. It was discussed on blowout forums. There were a lot of blowout forums where people went in real depth about card trimming and everything like that, but it wasn't dominating social media and YouTube and that kind of stuff. And recently it's really gotten that way. And unfortunately, if you turn on the news, it's 95% negative news, right? It just always is. And so that's what happened. And I don't want the hobby going in that direction. I don't want the hobby becoming another thing where the content creators and the cycles are all 95% negative stuff. And so I decided to say something about it because there's been so much of it recently that, and it's not to say that the information doesn't need to get out. I don't want to downplay the good work that a lot of people have done when it comes to, researching, oh, here's a fake slab. This item needs to be removed from auction. Beware of this seller who's scams people. Like there's good work being done there, but it needs to be balanced with positive stuff as well, because 99% of the hobby is actually positive. And that stuff is the outlier. That stuff is the thing in the corner, not the norm at all. And all year long, I went to a ton of different card shows last year, met a ton of different dealers, did a ton of deals, a ton of interactions. And I can tell you that stuff is not the norm at all. It's the tiny little 1% in the corner that, yes, it deserves some attention so people aren't scammed, but it shouldn't be dominating our YouTubes and our Instagrams. And then, of course, you got the channels now that are just intentionally creating, videos taking shots at legitimate people are actually putting their blood, sweat, and tears and trying to, like you guys, who are trying to build up the hobby and do good for the hobby. And now, people are just taking pot shots for the purpose of just driving views and clicks and nothing else. And it had to be said that should not be the dominant thing that people see when they look for the hobby online.
Yeah, I know Dustin puts in a lot of tears. He's always crying whenever I talk to him outside of here. But it's funny you mentioned the news, and I remember years ago, I was actually, I think I was 18 years old when I got recruited into a network marketing company, and it was not for me, but they introduced me to a lot of thought leaders and books, and pretty much every single person said, don't watch the news. It is based off of fear. It's based off of negativity. And we have these negativity biases, which draws us into drama and negative things. And that's why we have to look at that car accident, even though it has not, even though it's not bad, it has nothing to do with us. We slow down, we look at it, we stare. And from an evolutionary standpoint, it makes sense that we need to take danger more seriously so we can survive and evolve. At the same time, when you understand that, hold on a second, the news, whether it's in this hobby or just on TV, doesn't matter what station you watch, they are leading with fear. If it bleeds, it leads is a popular media term, because that's where our attention goes and that's what we're drawn to. And that's what, unfortunately, like you said, it's an outlier. It's a very small percent. Most people arrived safely at work today, but the three that didn't, that got in a fatal accident, it's horrible for them. However, if we assume that that's much higher than a fraction of a percent, now it's altering how we look and operate in life. And so again, if it's in the correct context, then it's literally a fraction of a percent of this type of stuff. But that's not, that's not the news's job to show us the entirety and the full picture. It's to show us the outliers. So we have to be understanding that the one scam, the one, the shill bit, yeah, this stuff happens. We need to protect ourselves. But if we think that's happening 20% of the time, 40% of the time, because we're seeing that so much, then that's a real problem. And that hurts everyone in the hobby.
I have a little bit of a different take on it. I do agree. I mean, I'm mostly positive on my channel for sure. I mean, I think that's really, I think to be successful in anything, you have to be generally like more positive than negative just in life in general. But it kind of makes me think about like 90s, the 90s talk show wars. I watched a documentary on this the other day, and it's like, Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, Geraldo, Oprah, and then Jerry Springer. When Jerry Springer started out, he was just kind of, just doing kind of what they were all doing. And then he got like a new producer came in. They're like, you know what, we're just going to take the top off this thing. And it got attention. And that's kind of what you guys are talking about. And the YouTube game is all about getting attention. Yeah. If you look at all the different types of channels, whether it's crypto channels or whatever, all these different things, financial channels, I don't really mind it as much. I agree with you. I don't want to see negative things all day long, but I also like seeing just a lot of different viewpoints. And a lot of it is entertainment. A lot of the stuff is, meant to be entertaining, even if it is, in my mind, even if it comes across as negative. I think that it's people just putting stuff out, seeing what'll stick and playing around with it. I think it's kind of interesting to watch. But I do agree, though. But, it's kind of like, I think the good news, Geoff, is for you. I heard you say in your video, when someone new comes into the hobby, you want them to see something positive. Well, the good news is that all the new people that come into the hobby, they see your channel. They see a lot of your stuff. My dog downstairs watches Off Center during the day while I'm working. And every single time, like the live stream ends, I swear I come downstairs, I check on him, and there's like 7 of Geoff's videos that already went off. Like Geoff's videos are queued up, by YouTube, ready to go. So I think there's a good balance out there, even though, yeah, some of it's garbage and whatever, but I think I like kind of seeing a lot of different viewpoints.
Real quick, Dustin tries to put out so much content just to flood YouTube servers that his stuff will appear, but he still hasn't gotten the thumbnails down yet. I'm telling him, Dustin, the thumbnails. We were going to ask you if Dustin should do a rebrand. Oh,
it's a good question for Geoff.
It's actually a pretty good question. The personal finance it's stuck. It's been a long time, but from a marketing and a business background like yourself, should Dustin rebrand?
I 100% would. Absolutely. I'll tell you, like, honestly, like, I would 100% rebrand. My best marketing advice is to rebrand. Look, I tell you, part of my success, especially early on, was the fact that I called my channel Sports Card Investor. And guess what happens when people go into YouTube and they type in sports cards? YouTube, as part of their algorithm, is looking for channels that have the name sports cards in the title, and it's gonna surface those channels a little higher. YouTube, when it sees a channel with the name, personal finance dad, it's assuming it's a certain type of channel and a certain demo, and it's not naturally going to associate it with sports cards. So you're making YouTube's job harder for it to try to associate you with those types of searches. And that's a big deal. Like people discover you sometimes through search and sometimes through association. There you go. The sports card dad. Let's do that. I like that one a lot.
Dustin doesn't even have kids.
Well, hey, it's still a great title.
I've been faking the kid thing the whole time. No, Brad and I talked about sports card dad like 6 months ago, and I was just like, I got to change the intro.
So does that count as negativity in the hobby, Dustin? You being told to rebrand?
Yeah, I need to now make a reaction video to this part of the live stream. That's going out tonight.
Can we do an NFT based on Geoff telling Dustin to rebrand?
This is one of those moments. I want royalties on all the sales from here on out forever.
This is going to be, Dustin, this is going to be the moment that you look back at someday when you're like one of the sharks on Shark Tank and allocating your billions to these different startup projects. You're going to look back at this moment and say it all began when I decided to rebrand, because that one night I was on and Geoff said that we should rebrand. It was the beginning of it all. It's the beginning of it all.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped now. All right.
Now, thank you. You got a big canvas in terms of what you can do now with the name, but be sensitive to keywords, because again, sports card, like if you get that in the title, I tell you, people there are channels that obviously been around much longer than my channel, and I swear some of those channels would have gotten better traction if they simply called themselves sports card something, but they got too creative with the name of their channel, and as a result of that, it hurts them in the algorithm.
I'm loving these names too. I mean, Dustin the sports card dad. That's pretty good. That's pretty catchy, right? There's a lot of good ones.
It's kind of long though, right?
Dad bod sports cards. I like that one. That one's good.
And then you don't have to get in shape. You can remain soft.
I'm already in a little bit of shape. All right. Unbelievable.
Dustin, are you playing in the basketball tournament at Culture Collision?
I should be, because I play basketball. Good. I can hang.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay. I still want to
savor the moment.
I'll
cheer you on though. I'll cheer from the bench.
Are you coming? You're not coming to LA for the Super Bowl, are you, Geoff?
No, Brad. I got breaking. Can I break some news tonight on your show?
Only if you can make it into an NFT that I can originally own.
As long as you can get Brad into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, this is something I'm really nobody knows this other than my team at Sports Card Investor, where this information's never gotten out. But I'm very excited about this.
Okay.
And you're going to be interested to hear this, Brad. So this summer, we are doing Sports Card Investor LA. And me and the team are going to LA for the summer. We're going to be there for 5 weeks. And we're doing coverage all around LA and California on the sports card scene. We're going to Burbank, and we're going to Cards and Coffee and all of the big shops in the area. We're hitting card shows. We're going to be going up and down the coast, covering sports cards out in California and living and experiencing the lifestyle. So I'm really excited for it. Hopefully we'll have some mix-ups with, some mashups with celebrities who collect cards and that type of thing. We're really going to try to draw, a wider audience in by documenting some real interesting stories of really high-end collectors who live out there. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have tons of great content this summer on the Sports Card Investor channel from LA. It will be a whole different type of content. It's going to be really fun.
If you want high-end investors, Geoff, start at Brad's house.
I got some Prism-based PSA 9s. Whew.
There you go. There you go.
Not even rookie cards, second year.
Oh my God.
That'll be great, because honestly, I believe LA is the mecca of sports cards. Everything's really expensive here. Real estate's really expensive, but a lot more money, a lot more higher end cards. We have the Sasha T's, we have the Burbanks, we have a lot of, there are some celebrities, some people that are doing, big things that happen to live in LA that are 6- and 7-figure sports card collectors and investors. And to showcase that the way that you can capture it, I think will be awesome. And I'd like to say, where's Brian's comment? I didn't get invited yet. Okay, it's in summer, not next week. So that's why, I hope.
So speaking of Culture Collision, Geoff, what are you guys doing there? Do you have a big setup there? Or I mean, that's local for you. So what are you planning to do there?
Yeah, we're excited. So the Culture Collision show is in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, Stevie Aoki actually is out in Vegas, but definitely looking forward to meeting up with him again. Just saw the question pop on the screen. Culture Collision is gonna be great. So yeah, we're gonna have a couple of tables there. We're gonna have a table promoting Sports Card Investor, a table promoting Market Movers, and a table promoting the new Hits app. And I think we're actually gonna do a cool thing that if you buy a box of cards at Culture Collision or bring a box with you, and if you come to our Hits booth, we'll have a setup for you to break the cards. We'll record you breaking your own box of cards. And if you pull anything big, we'll put it in the Hits app and sell it for you as an NFT if you want it sold as an NFT, and we'll give you half the proceeds of whatever your NFT sells for. So it will be a fun thing. So anyone who is going to be at Culture Collision, please say hi. I'll be there most of the time, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and probably doing some trade night stuff.
And real quick, just back on the Hits app, the fact that you're getting the breakers involved. I remember this was something I thought of. I was like, if I was a breaker, it would make sense just because now I'm advertising, right? All these breakers have their Instagrams and they're trying to advertise their breaks. It's like, look, someone won this. We pulled this for someone. So the fact that they could actually make money on it and advertise their business from a marketing standpoint, I thought that was great, because it's like, how do I help you and me and the hobby all together? And it's more of like a win-win-win versus just I win and someone has to lose type of thing. But going forward this year, so you have the LA trip, which is going to be awesome because LA is amazing. I mean, besides the homelessness and the expensive everything, but besides that, it's pretty cool. And what else is on the docket for Sports Card Investor this year? Like it seems like you're coming out with all these different products and you have these ambitions. What else do you feel is needed in the hobby that you guys are going to work on?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's a great question, right? So we are, Dustin earlier kind of said that, regardless of whether you're in NFTs or not, the fact that there's a lot of innovation taking place in the sports card hobby with that and all kinds of other projects is a good thing for the hobby overall. I 100% agree with that. And we are trying to push that innovation on a bunch of different fronts, right? So people know Market Movers, people know the Sports Card Investor app. We are literally, our plan is to add millions of cards. Like, our plan is that eventually we will get to the point that every single card in existence ever, you will be able to look up and find pricing on in Market Movers, right? So that's one of our goals. And we're continuing to build out the database with our Sports Card Investor app as well. We want to make pricing, data, and information accessible to everybody. We already have close to 400,000 cards in Market Movers that we're tracking, which is, I think, about 20 times more than anybody else. And we want to build on that lead. So that's a big thing, right? We just want to make it very accessible. And there's some other cool bells and whistles we're working on for Market Movers in the Sports Card Investor app that are going to make them even better and better. That was a great idea. App for kids as well, for sure. It's not something that we have. It's not something in the immediate roadmap, but we want to do more to bring kids in the hobby. We've got the Card Kids channel on YouTube, which actually my two sons run, which is a lot of fun. And we just did a whole thing where we have put together repacks for kids. We're going to be bringing a bunch of them to the Culture Collision show. So any kids who are at the Culture Collision show, come find our team, and we're going to give you one of our kids repacks there. We're going to try to do more and more to bring kids into the hobby this year. Obviously we got the Hits app we're excited about, and there's some other projects we're working on this year on the technology front. We're also trying to support innovation around physical products as well. So I invested in Slabstrong and I invested in Stand Up Displays, which are two outstanding companies which create physical products that help you protect and display your collection. Slabstrong produces the rubber bumper cases that go around your graded slabs, so that if you've got a nice card, you need to have a Slabstrong around it, because if you drop the card, the slab can break, it can damage the card inside, or it can even just putting it down wrong can scratch the card holder, And Slabstrong fixes that by putting a rubber case around the edges of your card, much like how you always put a phone case on your phones. You should always put a Slabstrong around your slabs. Stand-up displays has a lot of really great innovative stands to display your cards on your desk, countertop, bookshelf, however you want to display your cards. They've got all kinds of different shapes and sizes, and they support all the different grading companies. Everything from, really inexpensive, simple displays that are perfect to put like a, PSA slab card in, and then, all the way on up to, fancy ones with custom logos and all that kind of stuff. So we're investing in companies like that, which are innovating on the physical product side as well. And then on the content side, we're continuing to invest in content, and we're going to have a few different new types of shows come out on YouTube this year. Special limited edition series, which I think are going to be the best content we will have ever put out. We're working on a couple of new show concepts that are going to be so compelling that I think people are going to absolutely love them when they come out. So stay tuned. I can't give out all the secrets, but as the year goes on, there's going to be a lot happening there. Our website continues to get more and more readership. We've actually been hiring editors, or rather writers, to write really unique stories for sportscardinvestor.com. If you haven't checked out sportscardinvestor.com, we're putting new articles up every day, really good stuff. And our Discord's continuing to grow. In fact, I know a lot of people from the Discord group are here live in the chat tonight. We've got an incredible Discord that's free to join. You can get the link to our Discord on sportscardinvestor.com. We got a Facebook group that a lot of people are participating in as well. We're just continuing to grow in all of those areas. Social media has been great as well. We're continuing to put more and more there. We're doing like unique content on social that's not on our YouTube. So anywhere you find us, hopefully you'll see more innovation this year.
I've got a question, Geoff, kind of around the virtual, because that's something where I remember the first virtual, the first night, I think there was some trouble, and it was, it's a live show and you're trying to put it all together, and it was still good. And I remember sitting there waiting for it to start, and there was 1,000 people waiting for that first one to start, and thinking like, man, that's a lot of people for sports cards. This is a really niche, part of YouTube. I mean, this is not some, I understand there's a lot of collectors, but at that time when you first started, there was not necessarily a lot of people on YouTube watching this stuff. So I thought that was pretty impressive. But now this last virtual, it seems like you guys have this down to a science. Like it really flowed really well. Do you have plans to expand on kind of the exhibit hall part of the virtual trade show, to where maybe like vendors or content creators could have like a space that's kind of attached to that virtual show, to where there's like a virtual exhibit hall, to where you have kind of a virtual booth, to where maybe you could put like, there's information about your company or your channel or whatever?
That's a great question. Maybe it's something we talked about. So the Sport Card Expo in Canada, when they had to go virtual last year, because they do their big show, it's kind of the Canadian version of the National. They used a software product that kind of did what you're describing, where like you could go into different people's rooms, and then like dealers were in the rooms to show you their cards. It worked okay. I don't know that it got quite as much engagement as they were necessarily hoping for, but it was decent. So we talked about doing something like that. I don't know. We'll see what the future has in store. Like it's a balancing act between, are people there more for the entertainment factor? Are they there for the giveaways? Are they there to buy things from the dealers? Hopefully it's a mix of all of the above. And so I'm sure we're going to look for ways to continue to innovate on that. We did that in December. I think we're going to definitely do it in December again this year. We had talked about trying to do it more often, but honestly, I'd rather people go out to card shows, because, I'd rather see card shows evolve and create more of an in-person experience for people to really experience cards. So, we decided we're not going to try to do the virtual a bunch of times a year or anything like that, because we want to instead be out covering shows, and we will do it every December, but we want to be out covering shows the rest of the year.
Your traps look huge. I don't know if it's just the fit of the Sports Card Investor shirt, but traps look strong. So
thank you.
That's unrelated, obviously. What's the vision long term? Because I know you're making content in your personal brand that's more about investing in business. what's your vision for Sports Card Investor, let's say 5 years from now, based on where you see the company going as well as the hobby? But then also personally, why are you putting out other content? Do you have a different mission or vision there as well?
Yeah, great questions, right? So in terms of the organization, Sports Card Investor is going to continue to obviously have a laser focus on creating better and better sports card products and sports card content. But we do have ambitions beyond that. And as an organization, our plan is that in the upcoming months and years that we will also launch into other forms of collectibles. So whether it's trading card games and Pokemon, whether it's comics, or whether it's NFTs, our goal is to eventually have really good content in those verticals and have really great products which allow you to track prices, shop easily, all that type of thing in those verticals as well. And eventually we want to be able to expand across really any form of collecting. So if there's anything, this is way out. But like if we may even look at watches and different areas of collecting, anything that somebody collects, we want to be able to provide you with best-in-class content, best-in-class and educational content and entertainment content. And we want to be able to provide you with best-in-class products that help you understand the market and make smart investment decisions. So that's what we're going to be working on. That's more of a several year vision. So it's not, none of that's happening tomorrow, but we are going to go into different areas. Now, we will, though, I say that, but we will forever have a very core focus on sports cards. And as we go into other areas, you're going to see different content creators in those areas. So it's not going to be me. Like I'm not going to turn into a Pokemon investor tomorrow because I don't know Pokemon, right? And Pokemon, even though I respect it and I appreciate it, I don't have the same love affair with Pokemon as I do with sports cards. So I'm going to need to partner with a content creator who has a real passion for Pokemon, and we can bring together our incredible content production team, which does an amazing job, and pair them with an up and coming creator and help elevate what they're doing and then launch products into the Pokemon place. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing and working on over the next many years. And then you mentioned, my personal stuff. And we can answer some of these questions in a minute. You mentioned my personal stuff. So before I really got busy with Sports Card Investor, one thing that I loved to do was mentor at the local startup centers. And I spent a lot of time at places like Atlanta Tech Village and Techstars and Georgia Tech. And I would spend time working with up and coming startups and giving them ideas on marketing and product design and all that type of thing. I found that it's really difficult for me to take the time these days to do one-on-one, hour-long mentoring sessions with startups. So what I decided to do instead was to use my personal channels to start talking about some of that at scale. So I talk on my personal, it's Geoff Wilson on Instagram, for example, and I've got a Geoff Wilson on YouTube now. I talk about entrepreneurship, I talk about business, and I talk about other forms of investing. So I'll talk about a little bit about real estate. I'll talk a little bit about NFTs, that type of thing. So I'm trying to expand my reach there. And that's just honestly me wanting to help impact others at scale and do it because I don't have the time to sit down one-on-one like I used to, and I miss it. So by building up my social channels, it allows me to do that.
Is there any plans on, I want to have a personal brand, kind of like, one of these big podcasters or they all start with a mission, like Gary Vee or Ed Milet, Lewis Hauser. There's guys I listen to that I really respect and like, and they put out this message and then they speak everywhere. They have books, they eventually become authors, I think, organically from the audience and from any of that. Is that something you've thought about down the road as well? Or is this more just a replacement for what you can't do now based on time restrictions?
We'll see how that goes, right? So I wouldn't say that I have my growth ambitions are more around collectibles. So my growth ambitions are more around what can we do with Sports Card Investor, and then also how can we also do great things in other areas of collectibles. If my personal brand and the business content that I'm putting out and that type of thing, if that starts to, build significant audience and that turns into something there, then that's great. But that's not really part of my business plan. I do look up to a lot of those people. I, obviously listen to a lot of Gary Vee stuff. I've been listening. One guy I really like is Kevin O'Leary, because, the judge from Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful.
He's talking a lot about crypto stuff.
Right. So what's really interesting about Kevin O'Leary is, even though he presents as like an older, businessman, he's actually the most savvy guy on, like, out of all those Shark Tank judges when it comes to crypto and NFTs and future investing and all that stuff. So I really enjoy him. And so I take a lot of inspiration from what he's doing. So I'd love to do that kind of stuff in the future.
Would you be on Shark Tank if they offered you a panelist role?
That is actually my ultimate goal. Like, my ultimate goal in life, like the one thing that I've wanted for a long time, is I would love to be a panelist on Shark Tank. Not someone coming in to pitch a product, right? I want to be one of the sharks, and I want to be, just for an episode, a special guest type thing. I would, because they do that. They take on the special guests. So maybe, 10 years from now, that's a stretch goal. Hopefully we get there.
See, that's perfect, because Dustin's biggest dream in life is to be someone that appears on Shark Tank and gets rejected. Good. So maybe that might work out perfectly.
He can come on, and then whatever products he has, I'll just right away tell him that the branding is bad and it needs to be redone.
Oh, wait, I thought you were going to go on and take me up on it. I thought that was the whole, like, we're working as a team. Like, I'll be like, oh, that's okay, Kevin, because Jeff, I've still got Jeff, right? And then Jeff's going to be like, screw you, you suck. I'm like, dude, we set this up 10 years ago.
I was kidding. Oh, you took that seriously. No, I was kidding. I was being sarcastic.
Like, Jeff, we made this deal 10 years ago.
Oh, man. Anyway, Lucky K, appreciate the super chat. Let's just answer his question, because we really appreciate that donation. Joe Burrow, we got the Super Bowl coming up. Two teams, two great stories of quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow, complete different sides of, I guess, the coin in terms of their career. However, both really good stories and guys to root for. But if you have a bunch of Burrows, what is your guess on his pricing after the Super Bowl? And who do you have? Do you have the Rams? Do you have the Bengals? Do you want to drop what your prediction is, as well as the score, just in case you're spot on?
Sure. So, I mean, great question, Lucky K. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't say for sure what the market's going to do. But you can learn in sports cards, you can learn some by looking at history. And if you go back to when Mahomes won his first Super Bowl, he was exceptional that season, got the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, was Super Bowl MVP, and his cards promptly fell in value right after the Super Bowl by like 20%, because the hype around him leading up to the Super Bowl was so great that even a Super Bowl victory, his first Super Bowl victory, wasn't enough to sustain the card prices further. So if you look at that example, that would probably tell you that Burrow's cards, win or lose, are probably going to cool off after the Super Bowl. Now, they'll probably then build right back up as we get into the start of next season again. But, that would be my guess as to what's going to happen, but who knows? And in terms of the Super Bowl outcome, I think it's going to be a fun Super Bowl. I'm going to take the Rams because defense wins championships. And I think that Rams defensive line is going to give the Bengals offensive line a lot of problems. Just like, by the way, last year, it was the story of the game was Tampa Bay's defensive line giving the Chiefs offensive line a lot of problems. I think you're going to see the same thing this year. Rams giving the Bengals offensive line a lot of problems. And I'll take the Rams. 31-17. How about that?
There we go. Hey, Dustin, what about you? Did you give a prediction last week?
Yeah, I think the real difference in the game, I agree with Jeff. It's like the game's won in the trenches, and the Rams defensive line against that abysmal Cincinnati offensive line. But I think also the difference maker is Jalen Ramsey covering Chase, because they have that cover corner that can take him away. We'll see, though. I mean, that's going to be a battle. I guess they're probably going to do the double team thing, the same thing that the Chiefs tried to do to Chase, just try to take away Chase and have Burrow beat them with other guys. But I think it's just gonna be an uphill battle. But the legend of Burrow, it's hard to go against him. I'm a Saints Who Dat fan, so I'm pulling for the Who Days. I'm gonna say 23-20 Bengals.
Awesome. And then in terms of Joe Burrow card values, the other thing to consider is that he's a recent rookie, or he's, a second-year guy. So the question is also how many of those cards, if they're not really limited in number, are raw that people are waiting to send to PSA or BGS or SGC, and how many are at their headquarters? Because again, maybe he wins a Super Bowl, but then the Prism Silvers or whatever card triples in pop count or doubles by August of next, or I guess August of this year, by next season. And so now you're diluting the value just because there's more of that card. And if he was an 8th-year guy or 6th-year guy or something where I'd have more confidence in those cards circulating through the graders' offices and coming back, that'd be one thing. But if you look at the pop growth of all these younger players, you see it go through the roof. And knowing that PSA is getting closer to catching up on their backlog and lower prices, again, if anything, I would say maybe, and David Hunter pointed this out in the newsletter today, maybe you buy the raw cards then. You say, I believe in Joe Burrow long-term, then okay, why not stock up on the raw cards versus the PSA 10s? Because if he wins one now, hey, you have 50 raw rookie cards you can then get graded and send through the system, and maybe you'll have them back in a year's time or 9 months' time. Who knows where they are on that? But that's been my theme for the last 9 months, is the pop growth. So that's where I would rather sell. I would rather sell and say the hype is really high. A lot of people love Burrow now. He's not guaranteed to win, but even if he does, then what? Then an off season of what? Like now it shifts to basketball, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, everything else until August again. It's been an hour, so we want to respect your time. As we head out, what is like a bold prediction or a big wish, something that you'd love to see in the hobby between now and the end of this year?
Well, I mean, I guess, obviously, since we talk on my channel a lot about cards going up in value and everything like that, the January was a pretty solid month for the sports card hobby. It's different segments of it have been hotter than other segments, but overall sales volume in terms of transactions and in terms of dollars across the whole library of sports cards was higher in January than it has been in months and months and months. It was better in January than, depending on the different numbers you look at, January was the best month since somewhere between like April, May, or June of last year. It kind of is where January was in terms of the rankings. So that's really encouraging. Of course, last January was obviously a super good month as well. And so, my hope is that this will be a good growth year for the sports card hobby. It's not going to be a crazy spike in February and then everything crashes. I don't want to see that. We saw that last year. But what I do want to see is I want to see the momentum that has built again in the sports card hobby in January. I want to see that continue to carry out throughout the course of the year. I think it will. I'm looking forward to, a great national this year, many great card shows. I'm really eager to see what Fanatics does. And how things at Topps evolve under Fanatics leadership, and seeing that in the months ahead. So there's a lot to look forward to this year in the sports card hobby, and I'm overall just looking forward to a really great year.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Dustin. Is there anything you'd like to end with?
No, thanks for coming on, Geoff. I appreciate it. I'm excited to see you guys at the Atlanta show in a couple of weeks. Yeah,
we're excited to see you as well. We'll have to try to break a box together.
Let's do it. Yeah. We'll make an NFT.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, we'll be in discussion of creating that NFT of Dustin's face, because I think that's the top seller.
Maybe we can have that on OpenSea before the Atlanta show.
You might be surprised. Yeah. Right.
Geoff and I are already doing stuff without you, Brad. We've already moved on.
All right. Well, Geoff, appreciate it. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. I wish we could have gotten to every question in the chat, but there's 230-ish of you guys on, which is amazing. Thanks again for showing up. Obviously, to check out Sports Card Investor, YouTube, Instagram, podcast, and the Hits app. Definitely want to check that out. Give it a shot. Just see if you like it. And if maybe you want to buy an NFT, maybe not. But it's a really cool way to check out some of the best cards that are being hit from your favorite breakers all in one spot. So, guys, thanks so much. And we will see you next time.
This was fun. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.